What's going on? Welcome to Walk It Off. I am your host, Paul Jarrett, and we have a packed episode tonight. While I was sitting here trying to write everything in and trying to get everything straight, I was like, I got to keep this to an hour, but I'm going to get to it. I hope you're having a great day. Both God is blessing you in everything you do, and I hope you're exalting his name, as you do it. Tonight, we'll be discussing how on fire, that's why the thumbnail is, the block is hot. How on fire recruiting is around LSU, including LSU football and baseball. Jay Johnson's added another transfer portal recruit since we have last talked on this channel alone. And then Lane Kiffin and company are doing a lot of work. Is Kevin Smith outperforming expectations in Baton Rouge? You know, I seem to believe there was one coach who could get running backs to Baton Rouge. We'll get into that later. Why am I starting to lose my mind? Okay. Before we get out of here tonight, we're going to talk about Omaha and the surprises that happened within Omaha over the past week. We might do watch along later tonight. Maybe. I'm thinking about it. Not sure. If you're interested, tell me in the comments. Maybe we'll do a live watch along, watch a little bit of the Texas-Georgia game, which who would have thought Texas and Georgia would be in an elimination game? It's been a surprise, man. Great week. West Virginia beats Troy today, 12-0. It's a great Omaha. And I'll say this about it. I wish LSU was there, but I'm not going to dive deep too far into like what each team is doing because I'm watching Omaha as a fan right now, and I am enjoying the absolute heck out of it. I hope you are too. But before we get into the comment, I need all of you watching this live or watching the replays to do me a quick favor. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Go to the Twitter pages at Walk It Off Talk and at PaulJarrett16 and follow there. The Instagram, the TikTok, both of them at Walk It Off Talk. Please go click the follow button. I'm trying to get bigger and bigger guests on this show. From the beginning, I've told all of you, this is not just my show. It's all of our show. I want us all to have a piece of it. I want us all to be involved in it. I want to truly make this a community, a big community gathering every time we go live. I need your help. And the biggest thing about it is it's free. I'm never going to ask you to spend a dime of your money on me. I promise you. I will ask you this, do something free for me. On the YouTube channel, if you can, please like the stream. If you're watching on X or Twitter, whatever you call it, please repost the stream. Get this out to as many people as we can so we can build this follower count up so I can get these bigger guests. So I don't look like a psycho in his garage just screaming into a microphone. I have a little more validity, right? If you can, grab your family members' phones, subscribe. Grab your coworkers' phones for not looking, subscribe. I'm kidding. Don't do that. Let's grow this channel so we can have fun conversations with great people. We can continue to get to know, these baseball players that are coming to Baton Rouge, as well as just great people in and around life. We had a great interview with Matt Palmer of Jesus One Apparel. Went out Sunday. Again, like this, if you haven't noticed, I'm going to try to put something out related to Christ on Sunday. It's just something that means a lot to me. It's very important to me. If you continue liking that, I'm going to put it out anyway if you don't, but hopefully you do. Great interview with Matt Palmer. Please go watch that if you haven't already. It was very emotional for some people. And I don't blame him at all because he was a great guest. He's a great person. He does great things with Jesus One Apparel. Remember, at code Walk It Off Talk, you 20% on all of your orders, not just your first order, all of your orders. So please go check out Jesus One Apparel, get your stuff. We have some cool stuff in the works. Your boy is trying to do some editing and some graphics design. Trying to learn a lot of things on the fly. So please just help me out, grow this channel so we can get bigger and better things. Also, a quick thing, I want to thank Blake Ruffino for joining myself and Go Deep Dive, Zach and David last week. After the Milam news broke, he exposed us to a lot of new people, and hopefully those people come and join us and enjoy what we're doing here. But before we get to the content, I know it's a broken record. I got to talk about the Brendan Sorsby situation. I know. Don't worry. This is the final time we'll discuss it. I promise. But I got to get this off my chest. Yesterday evening, Brendan Sorsby and Texas Tech decided to mutually part ways. I don't know why my voice just went out. Bringing in to the saga that was Brandon Sorsby's eligibility. Now, I've been very vocal on my opinion of Brandon Sorsby in this whole situation. I've been very vocal on my opinion of other parties surrounding the Brandon Sorsby saga. Cody Campbell, the oil tycoon booster who is president of the Texas Tech Board of Regents. Ken Paxton, the attorney general for the great state of Texas, who inserted himself into the fray last week. That sparked a response by the Big 12. Yesterday, the Big 12, led by Natalie Wyson, I think I'm saying her last name, she is a graduate of BYU and BYU Law School, whom the Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark credited with the legal strategy at 1 a.m. in the morning. How gangster is that? At 1 a.m. in the morning, they filed a lawsuit through Sidley Austin, filed a lawsuit in the Northern District of Texas Federal Court in Dallas. Right in their backyard. They're not scared. Right in their backyard. They were requesting a federal judge bar Ken Paxton's office from preventing the Big 12 from exercising its right granted by the conference bylaws to sanction Texas Tech and Brandon Sorsby. Attorney Tom Morris, who everyone will remember from the Trinidad Chambliss eligibility scandal earlier this summer, praised the filing, quoting, and I'm quoting an article from Ross Dellinger on Yahoo Sports. In 40 years as a lawyer, I've never seen such a devastating legal filing come out of left field. It was as creative as anything I've ever seen, Tom Morris stated to Dellinger. Ken Paxton created the running lane for the Big 12 to run through, and Brett Yormark didn't miss his cut. The 47-page legal filing appears to be the driving factor in this mutual separation of Sorsby and Texas Tech. The Brendan Sorsby college football era is over. Sorsby has now decided to apply for the NFL supplemental draft that will be held and is now attempting to take his talents to the NFL. Where I've been vocal on this situation, I will not be a hypocrite. Brendan Sorsby is a young man, and young men do stupid things. Do I believe Brendan Sorsby received bad guidance by his team from the end of the season to now? Yeah, I think he received very bad guidance. We have all heard the remarks surrounding Brendan Sorsby and his visit to Baton Rouge before he committed to Texas Tech. It has been said LSU did their proper due diligence and possibly questioned Sorsby on the rumors while he was here. We've also had it added that his demeanor and his attitude wasn't great. But in respective honesty, LSU isn't left out of this whole situation. They offered Sorsby to come to LSU and play quarterback. We know that from a lead contract that Sorsby gave Ross Dellinger in Yahoo Sports. So to say LSU dodged a bullet, well, they dodged a 50 cal round coming straight at their head. But at the end of this, no matter what LSU did, no matter the contract leak, no matter what, at the end of the day, I want to applaud Brendan Sorsby right now. He did the right thing. You may not have been the sole choice maker in this situation. You may not have been the sole responsible party in choosing to make this decision. But at the end of the day, you did the right thing, and that's something that should be applauded. I never wish for this young man's life to be ruined. And I truly hope he finds success in the NFL. To wrap this up, I truly believe this was a marquee moment for the NCAA. Prior to this announcement, judges in other courts were beginning to use Brendan Sorsby's injunction trial as precedent in other matters. Would that end now that this whole decision has been made and is all gone? Maybe. Once precedents are set, they're hard to overcome. Only time will tell. A story that has flown under the radar out of the University of Texas in Austin, you had 2 players and 3 athletic staff members get caught sports betting. And the University of Texas self-reported it. They've made actions towards it. And I'm going to speak about that real quick. You had 2 players who were found to be sports betting. They were making bets on prize picks, right? One of those players has been removed from the program or has left the program, and the other player was first ruled ineligible, then ruled eligible, and now he has to donate all of his winnings to charity. I'll say it like this. That kid should be suspended, made ineligible. He shouldn't play college football. I said that about Brendan Sorsby. I'll say this about him. I don't care if it's Prize Picks. I don't care if you are found betting in college sports. Excommunicado, done. Keep it fair across the whole spectrum. Keep it fair. They had 3 staff members found to have been betting and placing bets on University of Texas games while on staff. You had a student assistant who has been fired. You had 2 other staff members who were giving a warning. Keep the same rules. Kick them off the tour, Doug. They should be barred from coaching and working in college athletics. Once you cross that line, once you step over that line, that is the integrity of college athletics, and take away the integrity and create strife in it. Bring questions to the outcomes games. You should be barred from college athletics. The NFL will bar you from working in the NFL, but they can't be sued for their decisions. I think the student assistant was fired. The staff members should be fired. Now, no names have been released of the staff members or the players who created these bets, so I don't have that for you. Everyone involved who made bets should be gone, period. If you want to keep it a buck, it should be the same penalty across the board. Sports betting is that much of a detriment to athletics. College athletics in general, they should be barred. But I'm not quite done yet. Hooray to the Big 12 for stepping up to the bully and telling them, no, we're not standing for this. They shouldn't close out this investigation fully. The Big 12 should not close out this investigation. Why? Cody Campbell needs to remain in the sunlight and shouldn't be allowed just fade away into the darkness till this is over and the dust is settled. Cody Campbell released a statement yesterday. A statement most people noticed, and you probably quote tweeted and made a snarky comment about Cody Campbell or Texas Tech and didn't read a statement. Probably a method in which Cody Campbell wishes everyone did. I'm not like everybody. I read his statement. In his statement, Cody Campbell reiterates that Texas Tech did not file the lawsuit. Hold on. I'm sorry. Cody Campbell reiterates that Texas Tech did not file the lawsuit that was the injunction lawsuit for Brendan Sorsby. The suit was filed solely by Brendan Sorsby and his representation. Let's talk about that real quick. His representation. Do y'all remember who that was? I remember that was. I wrote it down right here. Now I just can't find it. I'm sorry. Jeffrey Kessler. Jeffrey Kessler, who is a prominent sports and antitrust lawyer. And if you know what prominent means in attorney speak, that means expensive. Where did Brendan Sorsby get the funds to hire Jeffrey Kessler as representation? I wonder. So Cody Campbell's not involved in that. Texas Tech is not involved in that at all. Okay, interesting. Let's go on to another statement he made in his statement. Cody Campbell also stated, as far as Brendan Sorsby NIL funds, they are not going to God, why? I am so stupid. He also states that speaking about himself and the funds that Texas Tech has paid Brendan Sorsby, they will not seek to have monetary amount already paid to Brendan Sorsby returned. Let me say that again so it doesn't sound so stupid. Texas Tech and really Cody Campbell are not looking to get any money already paid to Brendan Sorsby returned to them. They're going to wash their hands of it and say, hey, that's good. How sweet of them. That's so kind. That's so sweet of those guys not to make Brendan Sorsby pay him back. Want to know my opinion? Brendan Sorsby should get the full $5 million contract. Period. If it's not pay for play, Cody, you should have to pay him the full $5 million. I'm sure there's marketing and advertising opportunities through Texas Tech. You said in the statement, as well as Texas Tech, that you're going to do anything and everything you can to make sure Brendan Sorsby has the attention he needs when it comes to helping him with his sports gambling addiction, helping him with his mental health issues, you're there for him, right? So I'm sure there's going to be something on the side. Why would you be so devoted to somebody when he's going to the NFL? He's not going to be a part of your system. You said it in yourself. You said it yourself in your statement. He will not even take a snap for the Texas Tech football team, and you're going to be there for him. You should have to pay him the full $5 million. If it's not pay for play, you should have to pay him the full $5 million. So you created the contract. You and Texas Tech created the contract and signed it alongside Brendan Sorsby. You should have to pay him the full money. Cody Campbell is one of the largest lumps of cancer plaguing college athletics, and I believe the Big 12 needs to press on in their investigation. Thinking about this today, I thought about my father, and my father was an amazing man. I miss him every day, and he always reminded me the job is not over until it's done right. Big 12, I hope you finish the job. That's all I'm asking. Let's go to the comments real quick. See what's going on in the comments. Hold up. Got some people in here. Babin. I texted you, Babin. Text me back. Zach Nunez. Good evening. World War II implications of USA versus Australia. They don't want that smoke. They don't want that smoke. Robbie Plaisance. What's up, buddy? How you doing, my man? Zach liked the video. Thank you very much. If you haven't already, please do what Zach did and like the video. I'd really appreciate it. And subscribe if you haven't. Texas gets revenge and sends Georgia home. You think so? I'm actually going to go Georgia. Again, I talked about it earlier. If y'all want to do a watch along later tonight, just let me know. I'll set it up. It probably won't be at first pitch because I do have to do fatherly duties, but possibly a little bit, not too far into the game, like second, third inning maybe. But if y'all want, just let me know in the comments. How about Oklahoma hitting a quarter of their homers of the season in the last 2 weeks of the NCAA tournament? Check the bats. Check the bats. Dave Joy, what's up? Hey, buddy. I love seeing Daily Joy in the comments. My people. Exactly. We are your people, sweetheart. Thank the good Lord. I know. I think she's talking about the Brendan Sorsby situation. That would have been. I saw a funny thing, though. I think it was Crane and Co. I think Jay Crane posted like a gif of like Lane Kiffin finding out everyone hates him now again. That was funny. I know one place Sorsby not going is Las Vegas. I think I'll agree with some other people. I think Pittsburgh would be a good landing spot for him if he gets drafted. I placed my bet on the Texas Tech under wins. Oh man, Alex, what's up, sweetheart? How you doing? Does Texas Tech still want to play Texas week 1? Cody Campbell's not looking to pay that buyout now, is he? I don't think any of us did. But he had to have consequences because it would have inevitably affected the future of the entire sport. You're right. Robbie plays on. It's not much watching Bino playing in Cape Cod. I got to give Robbie credit. He is on top of these summer leagues with these LSU baseball players. He is on top of it. You were doing a phenomenal job with that. Miss Peggy, Oklahoma status wild, but getting hot at the right times. All that matters. Exactly. I'll be honest. I did not think Oklahoma would be as good as they are right now in the tournament. I kind of had them as one of my first ones out. And proved me wrong. No, I was Starkey and Racing. Okay. Brian Turner. The block is definitely hot. You dig? Yes, sir. Trey Segarra is the most talented running back and my favorite player from this class. We are going to talk about Trey Segarra in a little bit when we get into the recruiting, probably right after this break. We're going to have a quick break, pay the bills, put the advertisements out. When we come back, we're going to dive into LSU football and recruiting, talk about Kevin Smith, because I didn't think anybody else could recruit in Baton Rouge. We're going to get into that and get into LSU baseball and Jay Johnson. So stick with us.
John 16:33, Jesus says, I've told you all this so that you may have peace in me. Here on earth you will have many trials and sorrows, but take heart because I've overcome the world. Like that truth that Jesus won is so powerful, so significant in our lives if we fully trust and fully surrender to that promise. Like, no matter what we're going to face, no matter what stress, no matter what challenges, no matter what anxiety, like, Jesus promises peace. And he reminds us that all of the sin, the fear, the doubt, the shame, like, he overcame it all. He paid the price for your sin and mine when he went to that cross. He died a death that we deserve. He went into the grave. He didn't stay there. 3 days later, he rose from the grave. And the promise is true that he's coming back someday. So the power and the significance of that verse is now in a 2-word phrase that's on a t-shirt, on a hat, on a hoodie, and simply said, Jesus.
Even in the valley of the shadow of death, I can take rest, cause the living God is living in my chest. Every day I wake up feeling blessed, and even if I don't, I see it as a test.
Join me and your favorite players by expressing your faith and assisting local ministries. Use code WalkItOffTalk for 20% off your orders at JesusOneApparel.com. 15% of your purchase will support local ministries like the LSU FCA. That is code WalkItOffTalk for 20% off. Jesus One. In South Louisiana, there's nothing we love more than God, family, sports, and food. For your next get-together, make sure you contact Mie Sourdough Bakery. Whether you're gathering with friends and family for the big game or surrounding yourself with loved ones for a Sunday dinner, let Mie Sourdough Bakery provide what you need to make it that much more special. Mie Sourdough Bakery is a small batch, all organic bakery right here in the heart of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Go take a look at what's being mixed up in the kitchen next, as well as place your orders on Instagram at Mie Sourdough Bakery. Don't forget to pick up your regular sourdough loaves, your jalapeno cheddar loaves, cookies for those late night snacks, and cinnamon rolls for those early morning cravings. Mie Sourdough Bakery, where the first ingredients in anything made is love. Mie Sourdough Bakery. What up? Sorry about that. I had to answer a text before we came back in. All right. So I told you I was going to talk about LSU football and recruiting. And just like the thumbnail says, the block is hot. The block is hot. LSU football has been on fire. Ed Orgeron, Lane Kiffin, Eric Wolford, Blake Baker, Corey Raymond, Kevin Smith. I've been wrecking the recruiting scene over the past, 10 days, week and a half, something like that. 10 or 11 recruits within that time. It's been insane. Just to name off a few players, 3-star offensive tackle Amazia Sial, former Sial, however you say his name, Amazon, a former Cal commitment, flipped to LSU with Eric Wolford, while canceling a visit he had coming to Austin with Texas. Eric Wolford is also going after a 5-star offensive lineman, Albert Simeon, who will be visiting Notre Dame this weekend. 2027 offensive tackle Terrence Smith, top 5 offensive tackle in the 2027 class, has committed. Davion Jones, a top 10 safety in the 2027 class, raved about his visit over the weekend. Also have a 4-star safety en route for official visit this weekend. I didn't write his name down. I don't know why. Lane Kiffin, Ed Orgeron, and George McDonald are still heavily pursuing Eastern Royal, as well as 5-star. Well, didn't delete that earlier. And many more that I don't have time to get into right now, but I want to focus on one recruit in particular, Trey Segarra. I hope I'm saying his last name right. Trey Segarra. He's a top 10 running back in the 2027 class, and he has committed to LSU. Matter of fact, his commitment picture included the one and only Kevin Smith. And I keep repeating this because it's true. I thought, Frank Wilson was the only one who could recruit running backs in the state of Louisiana. I thought he was the only one who could get running backs to Baton Rouge, period. Last I remember, that coach didn't have a single running back recruit for this last class. Kevin Smith has been here, It's been, 6 months? Give or take some time with the playoffs for Ole Miss. He already has 3 commits. Not to forget, retaining Harlem Berry, retaining Caden Durham, bringing in Dylan Jones, Rod Gainey Jr., Racine Guillory, and Stacey Gage from the transfer portal. Kevin Smith is an unsung hero in all of this recruiting in my mind. Like, truly. Like, we look at Lane Kiffin, ever since Ed Orgeron's back, we've been raving about Coach O, and for a good reason. Not to put anything down on Coach O. Eric Wolford's getting a lot of hype right now from all these offensive line recruits. We always talk about Corey Raymond and Blake Baker. Corey Raymond is the godfather of DBU. I don't care who you talk to and who disagrees. Shove it. That is the godfather of DBU. But Kevin Smith came in and filled a role that a lot of people said couldn't be filled by anybody other than Frank Wilson. Frank Wilson, I remind you, has never won a national championship at LSU. But that's beside the point. Frank Wilson, even in him leaving LSU and after with little posts and comments and things of that nature, told recruits even, hey, don't sign until they hire me back. From what I've heard, he wanted things that Lane Kiffin wasn't comfortable giving him. And that's why he went to Ole Miss. And he's not an unsung hero for me because I talk about him all the time. I love this guy. Kevin Smith has came in. And what I love about Kevin Smith the most, I'm going to keep saying this. I'm going to keep saying this and harping on it. Frank Wilson, I get it. He shows up in a leather trench coat. He's, the Frank Castle, American gangster, running back coach, commitment guy. I get it. Kevin Smith didn't come in here to try to put on a facade or be something he wasn't. He walked in here and he said, this is me. This is Louisiana. I'm going to mold myself and I'm going to embrace the culture of Louisiana. I talk about it all the time. Do you think you just seen a video of Frank Thomas driving down the interstate bumping Boosie? No, not at all. Matter of fact, fun fact, they don't allow, especially like baseball, for instance, if you watch the Dardar interview, they don't allow Boosie to be played in the stadium. I don't know why, but bumping Boosie in the car, going to Scott, hey, I want the boudin, doing all this stuff, embracing the culture, not trying to make it something he wasn't, not using the Brian Kelly script and just coming in and this is what worked at UCF, this is what worked at Ole Miss, this is what worked at this stop. No, this is LSU. This is just different. It's got to be different for me to have success here. And this whole staff has done that. And it's such a refreshing twist of what happened when we had Brian Kelly here. And it's more than just like Ed Orgeron came in and said, hey, this is how we do things. Kevin Smith was doing this before Ed Orgeron got here. Eric Wolford worked here before, so he knows the deal. And we just accept everybody because Eric Wolford won a court case against LSU. But we don't care. We win championships. Other than what Stephen Willits and Ole Miss talks about. Babin talked about that on the show earlier. That dude's an idiot. He's a buffoon. Straight up idiot. Now, Kevin Smith, I'm going to talk to him before this offseason is over. I have to. That dude is such a gangster. He's came in and retaining Harlan Berry and Caden Durham, first of all, right? LSU at the time of the hiring of Lane Kiffin was kind of a sinking ship, right? The whole offensive staff leaves. Now, none of them are following Joe Sloan. I think one of them, no, they got the guy that transferred to Tennessee from us. I don't remember his name. Not important. Nobody was going to follow Joe Sloan to Kentucky. People were going to follow Frank Thomas. And credit to Frank Thomas. He recruited a lot of those guys. Like Frank Thomas was the sole recruiter on the Harlan Berry recruitment and Caden Durham. It would have been very, very, very easy for Harlan Berry and Caden Durham to go catch a bag somewhere and go somewhere else. I'm sure Ole Miss would have gave him a bag if they would have told him the true amount they were giving everybody, because Princewell Umanyalan and TJ Dottery said, wait, you're getting what? Deuces. That's how they do things over there. But Kevin Smith has came in and just retaining those two guys. Harlan Berry, who has a ceiling that isn't found yet. He has no ceilings, like Lil Wayne. He has no ceilings. Harlan Berry had a high school highlight tape that reminded me of Reggie Bush, and he still has that potential. Caden Durham wasn't coached. Caden Durham wasn't coached at LSU. He had no development. all y'all want to give Nate Yeske grief about not developing pitchers. Frank Thomas never developed a running back. Period. If my memory serves me right, he was here during the Leonard Fournette time, right? Leonard Fournette took a jump in the NFL because he got coached there. Leonard Fournette, while he was here, was running on talent and ability, period. Now you have, for instance, Caden Durham with a running back coach is going to develop him. Not only a running back coach who can do it, a guy who did it at UCF. I think he still holds the rushing record at UCF for yards. Then you bring in Stacey Gage, Racine Guillory, Rod Gainey Jr., the guy I'm really high on, Dylan Jones, who is going to be a marler. And now you go get Dre Segura. Trey Segura, who's going to come in 2027 and be a handful, guys. A handful. Quick feet, power at the point of attack, great running back, and still growing into his body. Let him come to LSU and get into that weight room and get into that nutritional system that Lane Kiffin and company have. It's ridiculous. Trey Segura, it's funny. Like, I saw the news today, and it's a big news. It's big. It's a big commitment. I get it. I wasn't surprised. And I don't really expect this from Kevin Smith, but it's hard not to because that's just what the guy's going to do. Kevin Smith is an unsung hero in this coaching staff. And I think he wants it. I don't think Kevin Smith wants to be in the glitz and glam. I think Kevin Smith likes his life. I think he doesn't want the pressure, or the grief. But man, he deserves a lot more flowers than a lot of people give him. Let's check the chat real quick. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Oklahoma's peaking. That's all that matters in Omaha. That's it. 100%. Billy G is the best dang GM on the planet. Daly's been posting a lot about Billy Glasscock. A lot about him. Now, I can't help but laugh every time I hear Billy Glasscock because I remember that West Virginia pitcher last year that came to Baton Rouge in the Supers. And boy, he ate it. He couldn't take the heat of the box. James Craig also a big James Craig also a big offensive line assistant. Am I wrong? Was Craig the winner of the lawsuit? It may have been Craig and not Eric Wolford. Kentucky and Sloan got Nick Anderson. Whatever. Exactly. Nobody. Go to a U-High game this year and you'll probably see him and Kiffin there. Oh, no. I'm talking about having him on here, Robbie. I'm talking about having him on with us. That's what I want. By the way, Joy, I got to actually ask you a question. I'm not going to ask you for any favors. I just want to ask you a question, by the way. Wilson got offensive lineman and fourth string running back to Ole Miss. What was that? Carius Kern and the kid who had the legal trouble, right? Lindsay, I think. Wilson was here during the Fournette days. Yeah. And I'll be honest, he didn't develop Fournette. Fournette was running off of just primal ability and talent, period. I believe that Frank left there after he went to the NFL. I don't know if he left or got ran out. I believe you are correct, Rob. Baldwin first came back, hit a leadoff home run and started for the Braves. There we go. All right. Uncle Randy's in the chat. Go Tigers. And James Craig was the winner of the lawsuit, not Wolford. Okay. White people look the same, man. White people look the same. Correct. Yeah, Lindsay. All right. So, and I'll be honest with you guys, I don't dive into high school recruiting that much because there is no there, if you get what I'm saying. Like, yeah, they committed, but we're trying to flip a commit from Texas to LSU right now. So it's not really like carved in marble that they're going to be here, right? Like, we just have the commitment flipped to what, Florida or Florida State, wherever, or no, Miami. I apologize. They flipped to Miami. It's all fugazi right now. Until they're on campus, I don't worry about it too much, just to be completely honest. You are absolutely correct about Fournette. Lenny was mowing kids down in high school. Yes, he was. I mean, guy was a monster. All right. Now, let's get into LSU baseball. I do have the College World Series on in the background. It's not on loud so nobody can hear it. No copyright for me. All right, let's talk about LSU baseball. The past 5 days have been euphoric around LSU baseball. Jay Johnson is blazing his way through the transfer portal as of late. Blazing his way. The biggest mistake NCAA baseball gave LSU and Jay Johnson was time. Time where he doesn't have to worry about games. He can send his kids off on vacation. He can send the kids off to summer leagues. Daddy's got to work. All right. Not only has Stephen Milam decided to return to LSU for his 4th year. Hey, Zach, by the way, I think some people called that. I'm looking right here because the monitor of the comment section is right here. I believe some people called that. Just saying. Not only has Stephen Milam returned, Jay Johnson's added the #1 transfer portal prospect in Bino Waters, a highly recruited transfer in Dawson Park from Texas State, a highly touted pitcher from Gonzaga named Landon Hood, surprise portal entry, Cade Curlin from Florida, who also took his name out of the draft. He chose LSU over Major League Baseball for now. How else can you put it? He said, no, I want to stay in the box. I want to go to the powerhouse. Major League Baseball can wait. Oh, by the way, he's good friends with Stephen Milam. So that pair in the middle going to be nasty. Also over the weekend, and I haven't checked to see if anything's happened since we've got on the show, Jay Johnson has added Jason Wax from Tulane. Now, I'm excited about seeing Jason Wax here at LSU. Not everybody online was. Some people online were questioning whether or not he can transition to the SEC. They were questioning whether or not he can transfer from his success at Tulane to the SEC and facing bigger arms and better competition. I get it. And look, regardless of what happened this season, everybody's kind of in a moment of short-term memory. They look at guys who came from smaller schools this past season and didn't perform, right? Y'all forget that was still the #1 transfer portal class last year. So even the people who made those rankings were wrong. Let me ask y'all a question. Did anybody know Anthony Hines' name before he transferred into LSU? Did anybody know Gage Jump's name before he transferred into LSU? Guys, relax. If anything Jay Johnson has earned is our patience. All right? If Jay Johnson sees something in a kid and brings him in, I'm all good for it. Everybody wanted Brody Trosclair. I get it. You see a guy, a big arm, had success at, what was that, Northwestern, I believe. He didn't want him. I promise you, if Jay Johnson wanted Brody Trosclair when he came to campus, he wouldn't have left. That's how confident I am in Jay Johnson. And also, this is how confident you should be in Jay Johnson. I'm going to give a shout out to Blake Ruffino of AYS Sports for putting this out there. I knew I was going to talk about it, and I didn't want to do that without giving credit to the man who put this out there and brought it to my attention. Here's something interesting about Tulane outfielder transfer Jason Wax. Against LSU, Mississippi State, UCLA, and TCU, Wax went 12 for 17 with 11 RBIs and 4 walks. When seeing high-level competition, Wax performed at the highest level. And that's true. Look, you can talk about whether or not the kid can transition to the SEC. And you look at that list. LSU, Mississippi State, that's 2 SEC schools. Mississippi State, great SEC school, great team this year, had great pitching. LSU, I know it's a midweek. I know most of these are midweek games. I get it. I don't care. The talent is still far and above what he sees in his conference play at Tulane. But he stepped up to the plate and he got it done. That's all that matters. This isn't a chance where a kid can go out there on a weekend series, scrabble together a few hits, make his average look good, have some Texas leaguers, have some little CNI ground balls to the infield, and then have a high percentage. No, these are one-game sample sizes against some of the best teams in the country. UCLA supposedly had the best shortstop in the country this year. Supposedly was supposed to be in Omaha right now. Somebody said they weren't going to be in Omaha. Somebody said that. I don't know who that would be. TCU, another great baseball team. The kid has what it takes to get it done. And Jay Johnson believes the kid has what it takes to get it done. So it's that simple. Just trust in Jay Johnson, trust in his process, trust in the Operation Danny Dickinson, what Jay Johnson has dubbed this. He's dubbed his looking at guys from smaller schools and bringing them to LSU and the SEC and having them have success as Operation Danny Dickinson. Trust the process. Now, I'll admit this. So, I'm not the most keyed in guy to everything. I don't have all these sources and text messages coming to me all the time. I've never said I did. I'm the red string guy, connecting dots, reading tea leaves, right? Checking the alignment of the stars. What's going to happen tonight? Okay. I'm that guy, right? But the more and more I sit back and I think about the portal needs for LSU and what Jay and trying to decipher what Jay Johnson is going to go into the portal and get and what he's kind of trying to find, I realize nobody is safe. Aside from, in my opinion, your shortstop, your second baseman, and possibly an outfielder, nobody is safe. No position is locked down for somebody, right? I'd even go as far to say catcher isn't locked down. I love Beatty. I love Cerna. I'm not saying anything against them. But Jay Johnson made it very clear if there will be competition, you have to bring it every day for your spot. Every day. Aside from Stephen Milam, I believe Kay Curlin, Jake Brown. But just before the show, there was another transfer portal announcement. And I'm going to butcher this kid's name, and I apologize to him for it. But this announcement kind of stood out to a lot of fans, especially LSU baseball fans, who were begging Jay Johnson to go get this kid. Hey, anybody in the chat, can y'all tell me whether or not people doubted Jay Johnson's transfer portal recruiting ability this season? Did anybody? I guess people trust him again. Hold on. Hey, Kaylee Joe. Hey, sweetheart. But I'm going to butcher this guy's name, and I've tried to say this 1,000 times over. Nalivu Lukai. Nalivu Lukai Jr. I got that part right. He's listed as a utility player from Oregon. He has entered his name in the transfer portal. Here's some stats for you real quick for him. He had 321 with 14 pumps last season. 321 to 14 pumps at Oregon. Not bad. And just like in Toys R Us, I know, okay, Toys R Us don't exist anymore. Just like the brand new toy your neighbor down the street got when you were kids that was all shiny, everyone sees this Dwayne The Rock Johnson lookalike and are begging Jay to go get him. Does the kid smell what Jay Johnson is cooking and come to Baton Rouge? I don't know if Jay is cooking for him. I'll be honest. I look at him. I'll be honest. I see a first baseman. I see a slugging first baseman. That's what I see. But does Jay Johnson go after him? That further proves my point. There's no position that is safe. Me, Zach, and David with Go Deep Dive last week penciled in Mason Braun, spoke briefly about Bino Waters' transition into first base, but we penciled in Mason Braun at first base right now. Who's to say Jay doesn't look at that kid and go, 14 pumps, 321 average, big kid. Maybe Kevin Hart come over here and give us a stand-up routine before a game. He looks like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He'll probably fill in for him as a stunt double. Let's go talk to him. I personally don't believe Jay Johnson goes after him, personally. And I could be wrong. I'm fine with that. I don't think he goes and gets him. Not because Mason Braun is locked into first base. I mean, Mason Braun can go to the outfield. He could be at first base. I think he's a first baseman. Mason Broad did step up. Broad. What am I saying? Mason Braun did step up and play well for you down the stretch last year or this past season. Did a phenomenal job. As a freshman stepping into that role, he did an amazing job. He's part of that core four that I talked about. I know Zach and David, core four plus, talk about as a whole with Mason Braun, William Patrick, Jack Ruckert, and who else did I have? Omar Cerna. Omar Cerna just doesn't seem like a freshman this past year to me. He looks like a junior. The kid's so stinking big. But I personally don't believe, and yeah, Mason Braun did a great job this past season, but nothing is set in stone. Nobody has a position on this field locked in. Again, aside from Milam, I believe Carlin at second base, possibly an outfielder, Jake Brown. But he is being selective in the portal. He's not being distracted by the shiny new toy like all the rest of us are. Jay Johnson has the time to be thorough, and he is being thorough. It's that simple. This situation just furthers my point. There's no position. You got incoming freshmen in. And by the way, if y'all want to have some incoming freshmen in, let me know. We'll try to get them in too. Let's go to the chat real quick. My man BT, we were just talking about Cigar being that dude last night. That's right. Cigar is going to be a problem. Huh? Dawson Park looking good so far. Nick K playing shortstop and second base so far. That may tell you something. That you got to take that in consideration. I know he's a shortstop at Texas State. That's got to tell you something because he's going to commit to LSU, and I promise you, Jay has a say in talking to those coaches in the Cape and in those summer leagues to say, hey, play this guy here and there. That may tell us something. How can one not believe in Coach Jay? You got people putting Jay Johnson and Nate Yeske and Islamic terrorist jar. Okay, mad at Nate Yeske's track record, either going to Omaha every year. He has been 100. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Love what you've done positionally. Now I just need more bullpen pieces. We're about to get into that real quick. Randy Jones, yep, freak show athlete. He is. Lane Kiffin is one of the greatest running game schemers and running back recruiters ever. People need to put respect on his name. Let's talk about that for a minute. Because that's something Lane Career recruited Reggie Bush, enough said. Exactly. And Lendale White, and so on and so forth. Look, everyone looks at Jay Johnson's offense kind of like what's that guy's name? Mike Leach, like this air raid offense. Not Jay Johnson. Lane Kiffin is a run-first guy. He sets up the passing game through the running game. He's a run-first guy. Running backs are going to feast in this offense. And if you have the ability to have Eric Wolford and James Craig and Ed Ogeron recruiting offensive linemen to come to LSU to block for these guys, I don't know how anybody's not excited for this LSU football season. Like, the closer we get and the more stuff I hear from coaches or I see online or I hear insiders talk about, the more excited I am for this season and the higher my expectations get. And I'm trying to temper my expectations because no one deserves to be put on that high of a, that stiff of a penalty if they don't make it. But, man, I don't know how you don't have one of the top 3 best teams in the country next year. I'll go ahead and say that. And Lendale White and Derrick Henry. Ole Miss fans are mad because that is now at a place. Ole Miss fans are mad because all that is now at a place that naturally gets freak athletes even before the portal. And hey, they have Kwan Lacey, but who found Kwan Lacey from Missouri? Most people don't know that Kwan Lacey was at Missouri before Ole Miss. Ole Miss fans act like he's been an Ole Miss rebel from the beginning. That's not true. But like Babin was talking about, having to get bullpen pieces. I'm going to say this right now about pitching. I'm going to preface what I just said about no position being a lock. I'm close to saying that even the starting rotation is not a lock right now, but I'm gonna be completely honest. My personal beliefs, I'm going to stand 10 toes down in June before the season even ends, because we're still playing in Omaha, that a rotation is Evans, Moore, Schmidt. That's my belief right now. Can Landon Hood break the rotation? Yes, he can. All right. Who's moving to the bullpen? Could Cooper Moore start in the bullpen coming off the injury? Possibly, but he's already had the surgery. He's already rehabbing and recovering. He's going to have a full offseason to recover and get his arm right. So, okay. And Cooper Moore was your best starter starting the year. Case and Evans. Jay Johnson loves Case and Evans. I've said it time and time again. I know some people disagree with me. That's fine. This is my opinion. Jay Johnson has said himself, every time Case and Evans is on the mound, you have a chance to win. So I don't believe he moves off of Case and Evans. William Schmidt has a ceiling higher than both Moore and Evans, and possibly Landon Hood. Do you move him to the bullpen in his money year? I think not. It's money years for Kaysen and Schmitty. Cooper Moore's coming back. I think he has a hardship medical red shirt, so it'll be a money year for him too. Landon Hood, money year. This is all up in flux. Apparently, Devin Sharon may be coming back. I think Santiago Garcia comes back personally. I don't think he leaves Stephen Milam. Let's go down the list. Cooper Williams. I'm starting to lean that he does not enter the transfer portal. Look, Cooper Williams and David Billiot can back me up on this. Cooper Williams going into the season last year looked phenomenal. What happened? I don't know. People forget opening day, Cooper Williams came in and stopped the bleeding for Case and Evans in the fourth inning. Or fifth inning. Cooper Williams has ability. He has stuff. I don't know what happened. It's like this season. You don't know what happened. I mean, right now, Oklahoma. I'm pretty sure I can't remember exactly, and my mind's fuzzy. I've tried to forget a lot about this season. It was so painful. We beat Oklahoma in the series. Then we beat Oklahoma again in the SEC tournament, and they're in the winner's bracket on their side of the bracket, holding all the cards to go to the championship series. You beat them, and you beat them handily. Case and Evans, fun fact, threw 15 strikeouts against Oklahoma. Now, I get it. They're getting hot, and they're peaking at the right time. I get it. But that's what's so frustrating about this season. Jay Johnson, I believe, is going to turn to pitching in the portal, left-handed pitching in particular. Now, Abraham Cisse is gone. All right. Back to what I was saying. He learns the pitching. He learns the left-handed pitching in particular. Now, do I think he's going to turn down a right-handed pitcher in the portal who could help? No, I don't think so. But I want everyone to remember this when it comes to the transfer portal and recruiting right now. The season isn't over. We're not even in the championship series in Omaha. We still got to figure out who's going to be playing in the national championship series in Omaha. The season's not over. And there's guys like you saw today. You had an Ole Miss player in the portal today, just before we came on the show, an infielder. You have guys playing right now who are going to be entering their names in the transfer portal. Be patient. Be patient. That's all I'm asking. Jay Johnson has earned that. He's earned for you to be patient, to trust what he's doing. All right. Some other news around transfer portal on LSU. Maverick Rizzi announced he's going to Ole Miss. I want to talk about this real quick, very, very quick. A lot of people online are giving Rizzi a hard time. I know he went to Ole Miss, the arch rivals, the people that we never called a rival before, but now they're rivals. Look, at the end of the day, this is my opinion on Maverick Rizzi. He's still going to be a national champion at LSU. He's still going to be a national champion, and I'm going to show him the love and respect he deserves for being a part of that national championship. He was a big part of it. Now, I don't know if it was may not have been a mutual separation. It may have been like, hey, he may want to find another pitching rubber to go take. I don't know. It may be. I'm speculating, pure spec. But I get it. He's a rival. He's this and that. He chose to go to Ole Miss. I get it. Just give the kid the respect he deserves for being a national champion. I don't care where he went. Just, I hope Maverick Grizzly has nothing but success in the rest of his college career and further on. I just hope he's not successful against LSU, which he has to come back to the box if they don't mess up the schedule. He has to come back to the box. So, and he doesn't do well at the box, apparently. Let's see. What else do I have? All right. Let's go back to the comments real quick. I'm going to say this. Reports out of camp. This is reportedly a national championship roster, basically a better version of 2023 Florida State team that went 13-0 prior to Travis' injury. Look, Brian, I agree with you. Brian, I agree with you. Like, Sam Levitt is dunking on goalposts in the practice facility. Harlem Berry hasn't got any run this year. Like, we know what to expect from Harlem Berry, but I don't think we're ready to see what development Kevin Smith gives him. Oh, my goodness. And I love Caden Durham. Don't get me wrong. I think Dylan Jones fills into that second running back role. The power this guy has is ridiculous. I'm excited to see that tandem, that Harlem Berry, Dylan Jones tandem. Boy. Layberg, we have a player ranked higher than him already committed, but there's another edge from Virginia they want. Gotcha. William Schmidt was the number one high school baseball prospect in America. He even struggled. That's how hard the SEC is, bro. Look, I agree wholeheartedly. I love Schmitty. And I'm Brian, I don't know if you watched me before. Schmidt is one of the greatest prospects in history, and he's got to find himself in his bullpen. That's the thing. I don't know if he moves into the bullpen. And I don't know if you've watched me before. If you haven't, thank you for joining us, Brian. I hope to see you again, man. You seem to be very knowledgeable. Exactly. Schmidt turned down the draft, and it was one of those moments where it was kind of like the same moment that Jay got the phone call during the interview when Bino Waters called him. By the way, he kind of admitted to that being the phone call on the Mic'd Up interview. Shout out to Mic'd Up. Mike and Jameis did a great job interviewing, and Lloyd did a great job interviewing Bino Waters. But that's why I'm saying I don't think Schmitty moves to the bullpen. I'm like I said, right now in June, before the season ends, I'm going to stand 10 toes down that it's Evans, Moore, Schmidt. But I have the right to change my opinion before the season starts. Deal? Deal. Schmitty's a great pitcher, man. He has a huge upside. Huge upside. It's a wonder we got him to campus. Y'all remember, it was the same year we got Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson was here. He was supposed to be the 5th pick in the draft, and he didn't get his number. And then he said, I'm coming. Now Cam Johnson's pitching in Omaha, even though he didn't have a great start here in Baton Rouge. Schmitty due to make a big leap this year. I believe so, too. Hope Dominic Santorelli makes it to campus. He's going to be a huge bat. I don't think he makes it to campus, truly. The lack of left-handed pitching help causes bullpen to lack diversity and made it difficult for us to put pressure on the lineups. Randy, that Catholic high team won national championship. That's arguably the greatest in state history. You are 100% right, Brian. 100% right. As far as the lacking the diversity in the bullpen, I hate using this excuse. Injuries hurt you. Injuries killed you when it came to pitching depth this season. And also, quite honestly, guys like Cooper Williams and Maverick Rizzi not developing. And then you had guys go on spurts. You had guys like Plog have a spurt where he was great and then fell off. And Santiago Garcia was probably one of your most consistent relievers through the season. But at the same time, it was never David's going to kill me for this. It was never great, but it was never terrible, if you get what I'm saying. Reagan Ricken came in. He looked sharp at times. I know Robbie has seen him playing a Cape, and Ricken's doing a great job in the Cape right now. And again, it's another one of those things where it's kind of like high school recruiting. You can look at the Cape and try to project to next season. Maverick Rizzi was dominant in the Cape last season. Yes, lack of diversity hurt this team, but at the same time, I think injuries hurt this team and experience hurt this team. Like Marcos Paz ended up being a great addition to the bullpen towards the end of the year, even having some starts. That's another guy who's going to want to be in the starting spot by the time he leaves LSU. I think you had the pieces. Like, I'll be honest, I don't know why Jay Newt didn't pitch more. I'd love to ask Jay that question. I don't know why Jay Newt didn't pitch more. Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's just a year that was crazy. The schedule is very difficult. I am at 9-3, at least for right now. I don't. Let's see. Brian Turner knows more about high school ball and the best in the boot than any fan I have encountered in any chats. Real talk. Well, then I'm gonna have to talk to you, Brian. You're gonna have to follow me so I can send you a message and we can talk. And that's all sports, not just football, Paulie J. All right, we're gonna have to talk. We got to talk, Brian. Ryan, yep. A friend of mine's kid played a touchdown. He's the best player I've ever seen. That's crazy. We're gonna have to talk. Let's talk about Omaha real quick. It's the game against Texas and Georgia about to start in about 5 minutes. I'm gonna get out of here, gonna do my daddy stuff here in a minute. And then if y'all want to do a watch along, let me know. I don't think anybody's really say anything about it in the chat. So if y'all don't want to do it, then cool. But Omaha, earlier today, West Virginia took down West Virginia took Troy down some country roads, eliminated them for the Omaha with a 12-0 victory. West Virginia is scary, man. Micah Butel told y'all on the podcast a few weeks ago, West Virginia had a better chance getting to Omaha and UCLA. That's why I've been so high on them. They still need to defeat North Carolina twice to get to the final. That's going to be really, really hard. North Carolina is a good team. I don't know if West Virginia is going to have the pitching they need to get there. I'm rooting for the West Virginia John Denvers, man. I am rooting for the Mountaineers. I want to keep hearing country roads at the end of games till the end of Omaha. And tonight you have Georgia and Texas. I know Robbie in the chat said he's going with Texas getting their payback. I'm going with Georgia. I think Georgia is kind of just like not team of destiny. I think they have too much talent over Texas. I think Texas is like a wedding cake. Kind of like, fondant, really pretty fondant, but it tastes like crap when you eat it. I think that's Texas. So I'm going to take Georgia in this game. And the surprise of the tournament, and to me, I doubted them. Oklahoma is sitting in the driver's seat. So you have Oklahoma and North Carolina sitting in the driver's seat to the finals, waiting on the winners of these elimination games. They'll face either Georgia or Texas, and North Carolina is going to face West Virginia. They both have to could be beaten twice to not be in the finals. I'm really leaning West Virginia beating North Carolina twice. I am leaning that way. Again, I'm not a betting man, so I'm not going to bet. I will not advise bet, even though I will admit I took Gaethje in the UFC main event the other night. Not actual bet, but, between friends and a text message. I was like, hey, I'll take Gaethje. Now, I did take him under 2.5 rounds. That didn't happen, but how about that stoppage, though, by the way? How about the refs letting Taporia just rest? That was insane. It reminded me of the Yo Romero, Tim Kennedy fight when he gave up on the stool and they let him fight. It was so stupid. Tonight, I got Georgia, and I don't know. I mean, Georgia has the ability to take two from Oklahoma. I don't know if Oklahoma has the arms. But heck with it. I'm going to go with West Virginia, Oklahoma final. And I think in that final, West Virginia takes it. And it's the first time in a while a non-SEC school wins the College World Series. All right. Before we get out of here, Randy's also got Georgia. I think West Virginia wins at least one game over UNC. I'm gonna take them to beat UNC and get to the final. I'm on a leap. I'm on an edge here. I get it. Let me edge. Country road, take me home to the place I belong. And I want to hear the stroke tonight too. Not gonna lie. This unit in general struggled with the middle innings. I went to several baseball games this year, and once this pitch rotation got into the middle innings, it was like going from shallow to deep waters. Yeah. And the biggest problem, I think, Brian, as you can probably ask anybody in the chat, I didn't miss an inning or a pitch. The biggest struggle was starting rotation depth. Now, yes, William Schmidt had one game. He got into the seventh inning. I believe that was against UCF. The best pitcher on the staff for as far as depth was Cooper Moore until the injury. After that, it was Casey Evans. And Casey Evans, I think I've said this a lot, talking to David and Zach and Justin Babbitt and other people. He got spinny. And what I mean by he got spinny is instead of being linear to the plate and having all of his energy going to the plate, he would kind of spin himself off the mound to the first base side. And that was kind of where he started leaving everything either arm side or pulling it across his body. Pitching depth killed you as far as depth as in getting into later innings. And you already, like Zach Cowan, for instance, people forget Zach Cowan started the year rough. Now Zach Cowan does what Zach Cowan does, and he picked it up towards the end of the year. And he had one bad outing in the between like after the first third of the season going to the end. Like Zach Cowan was great, and he ended up being a starring role on Sunday, which I called before the season started. But Zach Cowan did an amazing job for you. It was just one of those things where, like, Devin Sheeran came on late. Devin Sheeran kind of gave you more innings than you should have, but they kind of bit you because then you need a guy like Sheeran, like, say on a Friday night, Sheeran came in and gave you 3. You kind of need 2 more out of him Sunday or Saturday, and he just wouldn't have the gas. Zach Cowan, you had to play not roulette. You had to play chess and know when to put him in where. It was kind of a moment of, in certain games and certain situations, you had to decide whether to punt or to try to win the game. That's what it kind of turned into at the end of the season, and that killed us. Absolutely killed us. I sent you a follow on social media, bro. I will follow you back, sir. We're going to talk. I may have to get Brian Turner on the show. Also, I'm putting money on this Lamar Brown's and next Ndamukong Suh. All these names are killing me tonight. I don't think people realize how destructive this LSU defensive front is. This is an old school LSU defense. Boy, I hope you're right. So a guy like Lamar Brown, I have high hopes for him. High hopes. I'm not going to put that kind of pressure on a freshman. He has all the intangibles. He has all the traits. He has all the talent. It's still the SEC coming from U-High. No offense to U-High, but still a transition. And he wasn't here for spring. So whenever fall camp starts and we start seeing some video come out of him pushing against college offensive linemen, like legit, I know you had college offensive linemen in high school, guys who are committed. I get it. But like seasoned offensive linemen in college. Get BT on. He's a ball knower to who? Ball knower for sure. Okay. All right. I was like, what are you talking about, Randy? Lamar, I think Richard Anderson, like Lamar Brown, Richard Anderson is going to feed families in Baton Rouge, cuz boy, I think Richard Anderson is going to be a problem. A massive, massive problem. A question mark for me is still somewhat the offensive line. Jordan Seaton, we know we're getting out of him in the first pitch of the Texas-Georgia game is a strike to Trey Phelps. All right, so the game's underway. But I think Richard Anderson and Lamar Brown are going to feed families. The offensive line, I'm gonna have to be shown that the offensive line is better. I get it. Brad Davis is not in Baton Rouge anymore, and that's a great sign. Also, still hasn't been hired. That should tell you anything. And I love offensive line coaching staff, and I love how Lane Kiffin. They're kind of inseparable. They're kind of the same person to a point. I love how Lane Kiffin compartmentalizes his staff so deeply. You have outside wide receivers coach, inside wide receivers coach, tight end coach. You have inside offensive line coach, outside offensive line coach. You have so much compartmentalization in this coaching staff. I really hope it can meld together, but I like how compartmentalized it is. I really do. It's something that I'm very, very, very excited about. All right. That's all we have tonight. Again, I may hop on for a watch along. I don't know. But if not, I will see y'all again Thursday. Be checking out on social media. Follow me at Walking Off Talk, at Paul Jarrett 16, at Walking Off Talk across all platforms, Instagram, X, TikTok. By the way, Facebook. I told y'all I wasn't going to use Facebook anymore. Then I post that short of me talking about really, I was talking about Cody Campbell, Texas Tech, not Brendan Sorsby as much. And they just flood the woodworks. I don't know where they came from, but they came out of nowhere. But At Walking Off Talk on X, Instagram, TikTok, Paul Jarrett 16 on X. And I hope all of you, before we go, like I always do, or I don't forget, we'll leave y'all with a Bible verse again, like we always do. Tonight we're going to be reading from Proverbs chapter 14, verse 23. In all hard work there is profit, but the talk of the lips leads only to poverty. That hits deep. Let me read that again. In all hard work there is profit, but the talk of the lips leads only to poverty. When I read that, what do I hear? You can talk a big game, you better put in the work to back it up. Because if you can talk a big game, but you can't back it up, what are you proving? Nothing. That tells me I need to put out good content. I tell y'all to come follow me. Y'all follow me. I promise you I'm going to put in the work to put the content out there and get as many great guests as I can. Like, I'll tell y'all the truth. I reached out to Kate Curlin. I said, hey, I'd like you to come on the show, come introduce yourself to the fans. So I'm hoping that works out. I want to get Kevin Smith on here. I think that would be great. So I'm reaching out to guys, but I need you guys' help to push me over an edge, give me some numbers that they look at and go, okay, well, this guy's not just a raving lunatic in his closet. You get what I'm saying? All right. We got some more stuff in the chat. I watched Lamar Brown several times. My buddy coached at Madison Prep. It's like watching Dominican Sue. Richard Aronson is a great defensive line prospect in Orleans Parish history, the greatest. Saying a lot from an area like that, especially coming out of football mecca like Algiers. You are right. You are right. Unc is a huge Bryce Brown fan and a car for seeing the doc. I remember that. That was such a good documentary, by the way. All right. Okay. So, remember, God loves you. All he wants you to do is love him back. Follow the socials, and I'll see y'all on Thursday. Peace.